Netflix is firmly in the Joey King business with three kissing booth movies. Earlier this year, we had A Family Affair, and now we get Uglies. Why are all of these movies so terrible, though? Let's talk about Uglies. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my movie review for the new Netflix film Uglies. This is streaming right now, and it is based on a novel from about 20 years ago, a young adult novel, and that's probably more of the time period when this should have been released. You know, at that point, you had the Hunger Games, the Maze Runner, the Divergent series, YA, action, dystopia movies were really all the rage. Now, it almost seems like an afterthought, taking a lot of ideas from those movies. But look, we'll get to all of that very soon. First, though, let me welcome you back to Dan Reviews It. If you are one of my subscribers already, thank you so much. Always great having you return to the channel. But if you are not, please consider subscribing and click that notification bell. Or you can just like this video, comment below, all that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. So look, I mentioned up top that Joey King, Netflix has done a lot of movies with her. The Kissing Booth movies, they were based on books as well, but they all came out, I think, 1 year after the next. And then we had A Family Affair earlier this year with Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman. I have not graded any of these movies higher than, I think, a C- was maybe the tops. That was for the first Kissing Booth movie, I want to say, but they maybe were all like in the D+ range too. None of these have been positive grades. Now, I like Joey King. I've given some of her other movies positives. In fact, she was a voice in Despicable Me 4 earlier this year. I gave that slightly more positive grade than some of these other ones, and some of the other movies she's done. And I like her. I don't know where her career is going to take, because she's in all of these like kind of poorly constructed movies. But I do like her. I think there's a project somewhere out there for her that maybe we just haven't seen yet. But in any event, the plot centers here around this post-apocalyptic world, as it always does, dystopian society. But here the twist is people are considered ugly, everyone basically, until they become quote-unquote pretty by enduring this extensive cosmetic surgery at the age of 16. And that's partially due to exhausting all the natural resources. So, these scientists create kind of modified orchids and then, implant some of the energy into people with this cosmetic surgery and what have you. So, all right, first things first, look, maybe Joey King is not the most gorgeous person on the planet, but, by most average metrics, she is very pretty. And so the fact that we have all of these pretty, pretty people that are supposed to be like the dregs of society looks wise, the ugliest people around, they couldn't give anybody with makeup, some sort of facial issues or anything. Like they all just look very pretty, and then the people who are supposed to come out looking the prettiest look basically like those Snapchat filters, with no sort of blemishes or wrinkles or anything. That's what constitutes, quote unquote pretty, which I guess in some ways, society has deemed that maybe pretty. You look at the Kardashians or whatever, but that's what they kind of look like, these sort of robotic looking people, with smoothed over faces and everything. I mean, to me, that's not pretty, but whatever. We'll accept the concept, I guess. But it's where everything else falls apart too. The look of this movie, um, the plot schematics. I mean, even though it might be mildly interesting to say, okay, well, what is pretty in society, what is ugly, or whatever. But look, we just had a movie called The Substance, with Demi Moore, and I will leave my review for that at the end of this video, so you can click on it. And that is also about some of the same themes, believe it or not, but everything is done in a much, much better way, a more original way. Everything here just feels so generic, even if we are to buy the premise that these people are super ugly. All right, they are, trying to fight against the pretty people and fight against becoming one of the pretty people, maybe, and there's sort of this struggle there. And it could have had some interesting things to say, and I bet you that the novel does, about the beauty concept in the world, or whatever. But this movie, nothing came across that authentically in my mind. And yeah, as a result, like I said, the set designs and the clothing and just the themes are all reminiscent of so many better YA adaptations. I didn't even really like the Maze Runner movies that much, but they are leaps and bounds ahead of this. I think maybe except that last one. That was pretty bad. But so I like Joey King and her acting here. Again, it's good. I don't know how much longer she can continue to convincingly play 15-year-old girls. I mean, she's a good 10 years past that at this point. And even in that Zac Efron movie I mentioned, A Family Affair, earlier this year on Netflix, she played like his assistant or something. So she was an adult in that movie, in the adult world. But here she starts out being 15, just a few months away from her 16th birthday, which is when she gets the pretty thing done to her. I don't know. This movie is just a complete mess. I will give it a slight point for Joey King's performance. Some of the other performances, I guess, are okay. Keith Powers, Chase Stokes, Laverne Cox, she's good as sort of the head. And look, I mean, talk about pretty. There you go, Laverne Cox. But again, I like a lot of these other dystopian movies where there's something that is quantifiable, like in About Time, or what is it, In Time, with Justin Timberlake. They use money to, okay, well, fine, we can quantify money. Pretty is such an open concept. It just seems ridiculous to say for an entire society to agree, yes, this is what pretty is. I just didn't buy it. Maybe it's better in the novel, I don't know, but I leave Uglies with a D. Definitely go see The Substance over this for sure. All right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. I'll see you next time.